where the FA faith thought high up and every conversation like rules the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's a speaker, coach, and storyteller, blending humor, raw truth, and accountability. None other than Mr. Hakeem Bourne Mcfarlane.
Yo, what's up, Daniel? Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you. And let's get this growth today.
Yes, welcome, Mr. Hakeem on Africa. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I
Yeah, for sure. Big Dream Hakeem, and the big dream is to help you live yours. Creator of the Choose Yourself movement, speaker, author, innovator, generating conversations and experiences to help you embrace who you were supposed to be before the world try to make you someone you're not.
Very well said, Mr. Hakeem. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. Today,
Not
let's talk
man. Not a
about.
problem. It's part of my purpose, for sure.
Definitely. Certainly. So let's talk about spirituality today, Mr. Hakeem. Spirituality is one of the most used and least defined words in our culture. Before we dive deep, how do you personally define it? What is your essence of spirituality stripped of religious dogma or a new age jargon?
Yeah, I think spirituality is our awareness and ability to accept. I think anything created by man is a form of representation of spirituality to guide us back to our truth. That's why there's so many variances, but there's unlimited interpretations of what God is, but there's only one God. And that's the bottom line. So no matter how you define it and what you're searching, what you're reading, how many times you pray, how long you fast, no matter what building you go to, we're all seeking the same truth. So that truth that's underlying between all belief systems is what I believe is choosing yourself. Now that differs for everybody, but religion typically creates division and collision instead of focusing on God's mission. Because then you got people worshiping ego instead of the divine. Because it's, oh, this is how we're supposed to do it. If you don't do it this way, then you're sinning. Well, some people in some countries believe you can whoop your kids and whoop your wife. Some places you can't. Some places let the dog stay outside. Some places you can't. Some people eat meat. Some people don't. Some people eat pork. Some people don't. That don't mean you're any less freaking divine. It just means you have a different journey to the objective, but the journey is subjective.
Indeed. Interesting, Mr. Hakim. For many, spirituality is about connection to something greater, to others, to the self. In your experience, what is the object or source of that connection, and how does a person know when they are genuinely found it versus just seeking a feeling?
Well, can you be comfortable on your own? Do you have confidence in the transition? Do you have the ability to take a risk? That shows true spiritual strength because your emotional awareness is increased, your ability to regulate your emotions and balance the chemicals released from your nervous system from preconceived notions and preconceptions and previous programming comes from our belief in something greater than us where it doesn't matter what's happening right now. It's supposed to be happening. That's called growth mindset. That's what it means to GYM, and that's grow your mind. If you understand, there's no good, bad, light, dark, failure, success. It's all just happening. Then we start to realize where the power is in every situation, whether your little brother died, whether you lose a limb, whether you lose your phone. Where is the growth in that situation? And when you can find people who can find positivity in every situation, that's how you know you've arrived. Because you can go to church and pray and wear crosses and get tattoos all you want. But if you freak out under pressure, guess what? Your faith is gone. You had all them verses you was rehearsing in church. You had all them scriptures and praising and singing and donating. But the moment something goes wrong, where's your faith go? You want to start blaming and complaining. If you're going to thank him for the good, you got to thank him for the bad, then get over it and get after it every time. Come on now. So if you want to know if someone is preaching and not practicing, if you want to know if someone is truly aligned spiritually, you watch them under pressure, discomfort, and turmoil.
Well said, Mr. Hakeem. Do you believe spirituality is innate to human condition, a universal thread, or is it a cultural or a cultural construct that we develop to explain the inexplicable?
Yeah, I think, man, I know there's anything living has a spirit. Now, what we've created as the stigma of spirit, I think, is what creates confusion. But if you believe the same soul that was looking in the mirror when you first became conscious when you were a little kid, it's the same soul in there. The body just changed. You think about what? You think your soul aged? Think about the first time you used to look in the mirror like, wow, who's in there? Who's behind my eyes? But then who's behind that? And then you think multiple layers deep. Or maybe that was just me because I was the only child. I used to be in the mirror all the time. But if you, once you start to see that you have layers of like, okay, who's that thought? And then who is that who just saw my thought? And then who's that who is aware of my thought? Once you realize that version, that awareness, that consciousness does not get old. It actually gets younger the older our body gets. With more experience, it gets younger because we're returning back home. The same version we were when we came to the earth and we had no understanding of nothing. And then once you have a high understanding of a lot of things, that's the same level of frequency. The happiest people are under 7 years old and above 80 on the planet. And so the spirit is what is getting strengthened and wiser through our body experience. That's what your stored memory, wisdom, heart coherence, your any different version that you present to different people from work to your family, those all come from the spirit. Your body's not changing, you got the same body. So who's treating your mom different than your wife? Who's treating your kids different than your boss? That's the spirit, understanding how to adapt in the world from your experience and knowledge. And so when we start to try to identify the spirit, you feed yourself new knowledge. And that's why a lot of times people get confused about what the spirit is, what the soul is, what the body is, what the mind is, what the subconscious is. These are all different entities of the same experience. And what we're trying to do is get all these things to align instead of the ego blocking us between the mind and the heart, instead of fear blocking us between the soul and our intention, instead of our subconscious programming blocking us from accessing our potential and being able to have faith and take a risk. So finding that alignment, that's what alignment is. It's aligning everything inside and filtering it through a filter of acceptance between everything that's going on outside, because it just is what it is.
Alignment, indeed. Alignment, people. Many people crave spiritual experiences, moments of transcendence, awe, or clarity, but spirituality is often found in the mundane. How do you practice spirituality on a random Tuesday afternoon when life feels flat and dishes are piling up?
Exercise. That's how you practice spirituality. Get your ass in the gym. You got to show your creator that you are grateful for his creation. Now, what that does, not only for the spirit, you are able to strengthen the spirit by overcoming the excuses of the mind. In order to overcome the excuses of the mind, you got to do stuff you don't want to do. And I'll tell you this, I love lifting weights, but them last reps, when I lift heavy, they suck every time because I feel like I'm about to die. And when I push through and I show myself that that's not as heavy as your mind thought it was. Why was my mind thinking that was heavy and I could still do 5 reps? Why was the mind telling me, oh, put it down and I still do 5 reps? What kind of shit is that? Why am I telling me it's too heavy when I got more in the tank? Who is that? What version of me? What governor is that? Which one is telling me to flip out on traffic when I can't control it? Which one is telling me to flip out about all this stuff on politics when they put in the news on purpose? Who is that? Who's the one telling me to eat sugar after every time I eat? Who's the one telling me to spend outside my budget? Who is that? Now, you want to prepare for the latter examples that are part of uncontrollables. You have to get the systems in place to get into a controlled struggle in solitude, like lifting weights, like fasting, also spiritual, like being able to have conversations with people and not have social anxiety and freaking not have a cognitive baseline so that you don't be speaking from emotion, like sprinting, like cardio, like nature, like meditation, like journal. These are things that are going to help you on the inside. You talking about you want to control the peace inside when there's lack of peace on the outside. Well, you better start by what you do for yourself to strengthen that relationship between the excuses and your intention. And that's what the dorsal cortex is. And that's why the dolphin emoji is the official emoji of the CYC, because the dorsal cortex help you choose intention over emotion out of your salience network when the ventral cortex notices an external stimuli. So drop the dolphin emoji if you be choosing yourself. Come on now.
Definitely. I like the way you say it. Mr. Hakeem, truly empowering. Spiritual disciplines like prayer, meditation, fasting, silence are ancient for a reason. Are there one or two practices you consider non negotiable for anyone seeking to cultivate a deeper spiritual life, regardless of their specific tradition?
Yep. Gratitude. Either write it down or express gratitude before you leave the house, but always pray before you eat. You should have gratitude before you eat, even if it's quick, even if you're just getting started. But it does three things. Gratitude helps release neurotransmitters. So you're able to actually get a boost of energy when you express gratitude. It also activates your digestive system. That's why your mouth starts watering when you pray, because you're getting ready to eat. So you're easy to digest faster. And it increases the appreciation of humanity because you got thousands of people that went into making that dang salad. From the farmers to the transporters to the cleaners to the preps to the cooks to the delivery driver, they all had a take in it. All you did was press a button. You better be great. You ain't have to go in the farm. You ain't have to hunt it, cut it, gut it, nothing. So be grateful before you start feeding your face. You need to be feeding your cells and stop praying over toxic food. Now, I'm not I'm so prayer, okay, that's one. And another one is exercise. You have to. If you're full of inflammation, toxins, oils, negativity, well, that's what's then going to be reflected on your outside world. Now you ain't never gonna find no faith because you seen the devil in everything. But also you're gonna clearing the channel so that the spirit can access you. If you don't clear God's temple, you don't take care of the kingdom within, if you don't freaking clear the channel for and you freaking high and drunk all night or freaking full of toxins, now you can't even remember your dreams. You can't even talk to your subconscious self. So you need to exercise and pray. Those two things I think are non-negotiable for everybody, for sure. But that saying grace before you eat, man, it really helped me change my perspective on life. Taking a minute to pause and express gratitude for all the people that went into making this meal. Now you start to realize those type of gifts and blessings throughout the day. Because if you pray every time you eat, you're typically praying 2-3 times a day automatically. And that's for something that was provided to you by other people all the time, unless you have a farm. Otherwise, it was provided by other people, regardless how you like it. It could be a damn to go freaking meal, grab and go. Somebody built that, somebody farmed that, somebody cut it, somebody did all that. Now I don't know what else they put in it, so you better do your research. And if you need help with your gut, we got the gut repair solution. So slide my DMs.
Yes, people, be grateful. Stop complaining and count your blessings. And Mr. Hakim, the difference between believing in something and embodying it. How does a person move their spirituality from the head into their hands and feet? How does incarnated or live spiritually look like in action?
Well, it's consistency. It's consistency is what it is. And over time, it turns into embodiment. So you can have confidence by reading the book and going to the Bible, but you don't move with conviction until you've seen his blessings. Now, in order to see the blessings, we're going back to gratitude, we're going back to growth mindset. You got to be able to find the positive in the negative. Because just because your ex broke up with you, that might be a blessing. But if you sitting there depressed, how are you ever going to find what was supposed to come of it? So, like I said, you will embody it the faster you can get through, not get over, well, get over too, but that doesn't mean suppress it or neglect it or mask it. Whatever the issue is, grief, loss, pain, whatever that is, guilt, shame, how fast can you get back to gratitude? That's how you embody it. Because that requires action. That requires you to shift your focus and take action with your body, write it down, reflect, pick up the phone, call somebody, exercise, go for a walk, meditate. It requires you to do something. Belief can just be a word. We can't really tell. Oh, I believe this. I'm a Christian. I'm Judaism. Oh, Sabbath. Now I want to give something up for Lent. We don't even know if you're eating bullshit in the dark. We don't even know. You might be. You just claiming it. But now if we see you overweight, now I can tell you do not embody it unless you're losing weight. Okay. So if you're an overweight pastor, you disrespecting all kinds of stuff. If you're an overweight fitness trainer, what are you doing? An overweight doctor, what are you doing? You don't embody it. You just believe it, but you don't really embody it. You don't believe it enough to embrace it in your own life because I could see your choices showing in your physique. So belief can be presented and you can fool somebody with titles and certifications and money. But embodiment down into every cell of your being, that comes through adversity. What happens when your conscious mind is under pressure and your subconscious takes over? Fight or flight, what do? When you get uncomfortable, what do? When you don't know anybody or anything anywhere and something bad happens, what do? That's how you embody it. But you got to go through that. You got to go through that. And you can do it in the little things, small things, like a long line or your food being messed up when you go out to eat. You can do it in those things too. So make sure you choose yourself. Don't lose yourself.
Don't lose yourself, people. And Mr. Hakim, very well said indeed. Every genuine spiritual path eventually hits a wall. What do you call that place? The dark night of the soul, the wilderness, the void, or and what is its purpose? Is it a spiritual struggle, a sign of failure, a sign of death?
Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to kill the old version every day. And if we're talking about physically, then, we only have a certain amount of time on this planet. But if we live previous lives and lives after, you die every day, if you believe in that. But that point right there is pillar one of the choose yourself process. It's called the trigger point. Now, when you get to the trigger point, that means you finally done dealing with your own BS. That's where ain't nobody coming to save you, except for your savior, as long as you align your behavior with the things you pray for. But not until then. If you keep messing up, relapsing, and don't change, he ain't never coming down for you. You got to prove you can change on your own with faith in his plan that you ain't seen yet. And that's called the trigger point. Now, I went through probably 100 trigger points, but they will always be trigger points until you do the work and turn the next experience that resembles that trigger point to a turning point. So it doesn't become a breaking point. So you think
Hmm.
about every time you see something racist, you flip out, racist, you flip out, racist, you flip out, racist, or you are racist and you see a black person or a minority, and you flip out, flip out until you do the research on why you like that. It's going to trigger you all the time. Maybe you do the research, start to understand humanity as a whole, the propaganda of the media and the news. Now you see it, you be like, oh, turning point. You flipped it. Now that doesn't piss you off anymore. Or maybe it's so ingrained in you, you're meant to stay here to show other people what not to do because there's people to do that too. You can't change everybody. There's a balance in the universe, energetic balance. So that point will be the trigger point every single time if you don't do the work before it comes so you can turn it to a turning point and then get to the next phase of the choose yourself process, which is okay, that's the trigger point. Before it triggers me, I'm gonna turn it to a turning point and I'm gonna turn my ass around and look at my environment. Then I'm gonna start eliminating things out of my environment. Then I'm gonna start eliminating things out of my energy commitments. Then I'm gonna start eliminating things out of my screens, phone, on my phone, food, water, air, products, people. Now I got more time and space. Now I eliminated all the distractions. Now I take the extra time I have left and I put it into my solitude where I really strengthen my faith in myself. We were talking about before. I put the time around my sleep. Now I've noticed what's not aligned. I've evaluated my environment, trimmed it down, took the extra time, put it into my foundation. Now, when I go back from the foundation and start building back up, I start to add positivity, faith, new relationships, workshops, community, conversations. Now you start adding. And then the final version that comes from that process of identifying triggers, evaluate your environment, set the foundation, invest in yourself, overflow, create, and contribute. Guess what comes after that? Another trigger point, y'all. It don't never end. It doesn't ever end. Every level you get to is going to have a trigger point of some sort. But that's the purpose of the spirit getting younger because you keep shedding these, the more you can get through these trigger points, blaming, complaining, judging, evaluating, putting titles, categorizing, all these people that you do, the thought that pops in your head whenever you see something, the more you can get through these and not allow them to force you to feel a type of way, the younger the spirit gets and the more you ascend.
Very well said, Mr. Hakim. As we look to the future, what new forms of spirituality do you see emerging? How might technology, AI, or even space exploration reshape human spiritual imagination?
Yeah, choose yourself is a form of spirituality. Okay. And that's going to be eventually the most universal form. It already is. People just don't look at it like that because they want you dependent and they want you programmed into a worker, which is how the education system is set up. But now with the internet, AI, technology, the ability to connect and build your own communities at a higher clip than ever, we got the Choose Yourself community, which we meet every Tuesday with people all around the world. And with that, there's going to be a lot of subdivisions and beliefs. There's going to be a lot of people breaking free of these huge religions into their own kind of modified belief system. And you can use AI to generate your own belief system. You can take the truth from every religion ever in the world, see what aligns with you, and then make your own religion. You could never do that in 10 seconds before. You could never do that. You'd have to read every book, every religion, go around campfires around every culture, but you can do all that in the snap of a finger with AI and create your own belief system. You can manipulate things with cognitive bias and confirmation bias with all kinds of stuff. So it's going to get real confusing, but it's going to have to get confusing before there's clarity, because confusion is going to bring out the inadequacies in religions and belief systems. And then we get down to the root. If we start to identify the confusing parts, then what else comes with the balance? You start to identify the similarities. Then it comes back to the basics. Once it gets too confusing, it always comes back to the basics. And that is choosing yourself, self-sufficient, self-aware, self-regulated, longevity, contribution.
Indeed, choose yourself, people. Choose yourself. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. Hakim, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my Abstract Essay is already in sixth season, Abstract Poetry in third season, and my Book 101 Review in sixth season 2, Comedy 101 in third season, and my Food 101 in sixth season 2, Geography 101 Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101 are in fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its fourth season, Trivia 101, Spiritual Awakening, Entrepreneurship 101, Mental Health 101, Law 101, Coaching 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, finally, Mr. Hakim, if you could leave someone with one practical piece of guidance for beginning or deepening their spiritual journey tomorrow morning, just one small step, what would you tell to them to do?
3 things of gratitude between when you set your alarm and when you get in bed. 3 things of gratitude. Write them down. Say them out loud. Date them. Time them. Put your phone down. Plug it in. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Get in bed. Read a book. Don't gotta. It can be a spiritual book. It can be any book. Psychology, but make it sure it's nonfiction about yourself. Then wake up. Write 3 things that you're gonna do today positively, and then continue that cycle. It's quick. If you can write, you can do that. But if you don't believe in the process, then you don't believe in yourself.
Yes, you need to choose yourself, people, just like Mr. Hakim advocating to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or anything you want to promote on Abstract Essay, Mr. Hakim?
Yes, sir. Join us, the Choose Yourself community, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. EST. We got a lot of self-choosers in there and leaders. You can also meet us at workshops around the country. We do a retreat every year. You can find us on the Choose Yourself channel on all platforms, and I'm online at Big Dream Hakeem. ChooseYourself.info.
Indeed, people, choose yourself and be empowered to Mr. Hakeem. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.